That's right. Oh, Face Wrestling. Listen to the podcast. Listen. They are Dark Side approved. Holiday approves it. Oh, Face Wrestling. I'll be listening. Will you?
Hi, I'm WCW Women's Champion Gina Scott, and you're watching Oh Face Wrestling.
I'm the one-eyed, thick-thighed Woad, and you're watching Oh Face Wrestling.
Come and listen to O Face Wrestling Podcast with your favorite Siren the Voodoo Doll, aka Nina Monet.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today on O Face Wrestling. This is your host JT, and today I am joined by most of the O Face team members. I'm joined by Jaxie, Timothy, Claire, Gina, Dee, and Bree. So today we are exactly a week away from, well, technically as of this recording, we are a week away from WrestleMania. Obviously by the time you all are watching this, it'll be the day prior to WrestleMania. So as of right now, we are going based off of the card that we see right now. Obviously the card is subject to change. And we'll kind of talk about some of those matches that may be changing from now until WrestleMania. But so, yeah, we're going to start with our predictions for WrestleMania, and I am going in the order that I see the matches on Wikipedia, by the way. So it's not by like least favorite to favorite or any particular order. So first match on the card is Rhea Ripley defending the NXT Women's Championship against the 2020 Women's Royal Rumble winner, Charlotte Flair. Now, this is a big match because this is the first time any NXT title has been defended at WrestleMania, and kind of sucks that it's going to be in front of no crowd, a historical match like that. So, starting with Jaxie, I mean, how do you feel about this match, and who you think's going to win?
I'm really gutted that they're actually still going through with WrestleMania, to be honest, because I think that there are a top few matches that really could do with just having the crowd, and the NXT Championship being aired at WrestleMania is probably a history-making moment that really could do with the pop from the crowd. So I'm very gutted for both Rhea and Charlotte that they're having to kind of do this with no crowd. But yeah, I see Charlotte winning it. I love Rhea Ripley, but I don't know. I see Charlotte winning it. I don't know why. She doesn't lose really when it comes to WrestleMania championships. So, I can't really see Rhea winning this one, to be honest.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's hard to bet against Charlotte Flair, like her or not. She does tend to win a lot of her big matches that she's put in. So, Tim.
Like they had that big build-up with, Asuka coming up from NXT, and she was, continuously undefeated. She won the Royal Rumble. There was so much hype around her, but then Charlotte Flair just beat her.
Charlotte Flair bursted her bubble.
Yeah,
basically.
I mean, as much as I would love to see her win, I just see it going Charlotte's way.
So how do you feel, Tim? I know you look like you got something to say.
Excuse me. Well, I mean, obviously, this is a tough one for me. I honestly think this is the match I am most excited for at WrestleMania. And like Jaxie said here, too, I was also pretty gutted when I heard that we were no longer going to have the crowd, because one of the things I was personally looking forward to was seeing Rhea Ripley with a WrestleMania entrance.
Yeah.
That just would have been amazing. Like when she does that little foot stomp and then pyro, like it could have just been so amazing. But I'm sure there's going to be plenty more opportunities for her. This woman is 23 years old. She is just already a top star, and she's still in NXT, which I don't like to consider like developmental anymore. But I guess it still technically is, but it's not. But I can honestly see Charlotte winning this one, but I'm looking at it from kind of a different point of view. One, I mean, it is Charlotte. I mean, you don't really just go up to Charlotte and then beat her. But I'm also looking at it from more of a ratings perspective. Between the Wednesday night, AEW, NXT wars. I don't really like to use that phrase, but that's what everybody else is using. I'm thinking to myself, NXT has always kind of trailed right behind AEW since they've debuted on television. And I'm thinking to myself, Charlotte Flair wins this match. Now, in no way, shape, or form do I think Rhea Ripley is going to look awful in this match. I think this is going to be a really damn good match. These guys have got some really great in-ring skills, really great chemistry. They're going to deliver. And even if Rhea loses, she's still going to look great. However, I'm also looking like at a ratings point of view. If we have Charlotte win the NXT title, she goes over to NXT for a little while, maybe until SummerSlam. Just an estimate. With Charlotte being a big woman wrestler or big draw, I think that can definitely help boost ratings. Put NXT a bit more on the spotlight, and fingers crossed that Io Shirai actually wins that ladders match, because I really, 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 really want this freaking match between Io Shirai and
I have
Charlotte
to
Flair.
agree with you there,
it just
Jim.
gets my blood pumping at the excitement.
I have to agree with you there. There is a lot of hype at especially since Io's return on Wednesday, which no one expected. And again, I'm gutted that she didn't have a crowd there.
Her for last.
The pop would have been great. So I am kind of really excited, and I think this is why I kind of don't mind if Charlotte wins the title, because I would love a feud between Io.
There's a lot
Charlotte.
of women on NXT that I would love to see fighting Charlotte Flair, like Dakota Kai is one of them, Io Shirai, obviously.
I actually even would love to see her go up against Shotzi Blackheart, to be honest. She's got so much personality. I'd love to see those two in the ring.
I love Shotzi. They just haven't been doing a whole lot with her yet, but no, I can just see a lot of potential matches going forward with Charlotte Flair becoming the new NXT Women's Champion.
Yeah,
and
this is the one time I'll say beneficiaries, but she wins.
But no, but it's not just me wanting Charlotte to win. I mean, I do want her to win it, but I'm also looking at like the ratings point of view. I think it could really, put NXT a bit more on the map. Get some really good matches with these women against Charlotte. It could just be really, really great.
And I think as well, I think all of the women on NXT, they're doing so brilliantly themselves anyway, but having someone as iconic as Charlotte come in as well and start doing some great matches with them will just kind of help cement them more and actually prove to not just us who are fans, but more of the WWE universe that don't know much about NXT. It will help kind of cement them as being seen as real wrestlers on the same level as Raw and SmackDown.
I can see that. That's kind of what I want too. I would like to see. I mean, I'm not necessarily like a ratings buff, but I'm pretty sure the way WWE is, they want to put NXT more on the map, and I mean they've got the talent. There's no question about that. But I think putting someone like Charlotte over on NXT would just be a great decision for NXT, if even just for a few months until SummerSlam. I think it would be great, truly. I talk a lot, don't I?
No. All right,
somebody
now.
else's turn.
All right, Gina, now it's your turn.
Thoughts on the same match?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with both in a sense, really. I mean, I think it would be such a wow factor if Rhea won it. I think it would be awesome for Charlotte Flair to help elevate her in that way, maybe, and give Rhea the win. And I would absolutely just love, again, for her to have that sort of crowned on her head. It's her first NXT match on WrestleMania, and for her to win that would be such an accomplishment. But again, I think, Charlotte has so much flair, pun the name. And just like her father, I think WrestleMania is something that she would be looking to win again. And I think Charlotte will help show all the different athleticism. I can't even say the word properly. But you know what I mean, the athleticism, I think. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah, I think that these two really do have a lot more to show us, and I think all this build-up is helping to be excited for it. I agree that this is one of the biggest matches that I'm looking forward to. Every time I see the promos as well that they've been showing have been so great. It's like showing Rhea coming from like where she's started, and I think that's been really good for even new fans just tuning in. Especially with all of the sports not being shown right now, wrestling has been very continuous for us. So we've possibly got loads of new fans tuning in. Seeing these promos has definitely helped to kind of give a lot of flair for this match to be anticipated for. So I think everyone's going to look forward to it, and I think it's going to be a great match.
I definitely agree. Now, D, your turn.
See, I agree with what everyone's saying, but I actually think they're going to want to keep this feud going a little bit longer, like Tim said, to maybe boost ratings. So I actually see Bianca Belair somehow being involved, somehow in the mix, probably coming out and interfering somehow, maybe giving Rhea the win or Charlotte the win or just a disqualification. I actually see that happening because, well, NXT needs the help right now. So going into SummerSlam with a huge feud like that could definitely help NXT continue their ratings. I really have much else to say on it. It's a match that I'm looking forward to, but not, yeah. It's out there, but it's not out there.
Now, Bree, your turn. Bree, your mic is on. Uh-oh.
I was gonna say, I don't know sign language. I don't know what she's saying.
I think you got to take the mute off, I believe.
Because she's using it says she's connecting audio now.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, she uses her camera
There
and
it is.
there we go.
Right.
Don't think it's working.
It just flashed that it was connected to audio,
Yeah.
and then it looked like it cut back out.
Yeah.
So she could have been talking and trying to say stuff, and we just ignored her. She's like, "What a
I feel so bad if that happened. I feel so bad.
Ooh.
Oh.
Did we lose her?
I think she might be
trying to
Yeah, she just turned her camera off.
In.
No.
I can faintly hear someone.
Mm.
No, we can't hear you now, but I can read your lips.
Wait, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you.
So it's a headset. It worked the last time we had a podcast, so I guess we got to do it on here. So, yeah, before I was trying to say, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
So, with this match, I was going to say that I was going to kind of be the person that played a little bit of a devil's advocate, because I can seriously can see Charlotte losing. I could see Rhea Ripley winning this match for a couple of reasons, and some of them that you guys have already mentioned, but like on the case of having Charlotte win, like in terms of rating, like think again, like WrestleMania is a huge WrestleMania is still pretty big, and it still transcends like sports in the sense of like people who don't watch wrestling will still probably watch WrestleMania. If they see Rhea Ripley win, that can bring a lot of ratings and eyes to NXT. I do also know that like there is what we want, and then what happens, like what Vince wants to happen, and I can see like Charlotte being the pick, people would want Charlotte to win. But I do think seeing, Rhea Ripley be champ and bringing that championship to NXT will do really I think it may do wonders for that brand and continue to move that momentum forward. They will want to bring more eyes to NXT and solidify it as a legitimate brand. And I think that it would really prove to people that WWE and NXT really do care about building new names instead of bringing back reliables that we know are going to win, who do draw. And I could see them taking a chance, given with all the the war, and I hate using that kind of term too with AEW. They see them doing new things and putting new guys over, and how that's affected their brand. I could definitely see them taking a page out of their book and being like, well, it's working for them, we could try it for us, see how it works. And especially because I hate the fact that there is no crowd for this show. And I feel like, and I hate saying it because it sounds really bad, but I don't mean it in a mean way, but I think they can try to use this to their advantage in terms of being a little experimental, that maybe, you know, they'll let certain people get over and be over because, you know, this is kind of like the WrestleMania with no crowd. They can kind of, maybe they could be given a little more leeway in that sense. But there's a part of me that's still like Charlotte could still win because it's still WrestleMania and they still want to keep that mentality going that this is nothing really has changed, even though it has. So I will be the person that will take Rhea Ripley to beat champ because I do really like her a lot, and I do want to see her in feuds with people at NXT who want to climb their way up to her and be the person that beat the WrestleMania champ.
Yeah, honestly, like for me, I'm gonna have to go with the same response as you basically. Like as hard as it is to bet against Charlotte Flair, like I mentioned, one of my fears when NXT, went to USA, I was thinking, okay, well, Vince McMahon's probably gonna dip his hand in this now that it has more of a mainstream, opportunity. And one thing that has always gotten NXT over was their ability to constantly keep things fresh and build new superstars. That they've been doing that for years now, and they have been building and really investing a lot in Rhea Ripley. People may not remember, she was on the winning team at the Takeover War Games. She was one of the sole survivors of Team NXT at Survivor Series. She dethroned Shayna Baszler. Like, they are really building her up, and she is 23 years old. If she can go over Charlotte Flair, that's going to help her and build the NXT brand. If they were to have Charlotte Flair win, it would definitely help the ratings. I mean, it's Charlotte Flair, but it's going against their prior morals with building new stars, and I feel like NXT needs to keep to that and just stick with what has been working for them for years. They're having, they have been technically losing the ratings against AEW, but guess what? AEW's new. It's fresh. People are still interested in it. You gotta remember, like, WCW used to kick WWF's ass in the ratings all the time, but WWE kept building new superstars, and they kept looking at the long term versus the short term. And right now, I think AEW is doing great. I don't think they're doing too many of the things that WCW did, but as far as ratings, I think if WWE keeps doing what they're doing, I think they'll be fine with building new stars and just keeping things fresh versus panicking and going to the past, because that's what WCW did. They kept going to the past, and with Hulk Hogan and NWO, and that's where they screwed up. Like, WWE can't make that mistake and just keep building new stars. They have a very talented roster, especially with the women. They don't need to bring back Charlotte Flair. They, outside of, Charlotte, in NXT, you got Rhea Ripley, and she could have feuds with Bianca, Io, and just so on and so forth. That women's roster is just stacked in NXT, so I think they're fine. Just, Charlotte Flair being in this title match and giving Rhea Ripley the rub is all they need to do.
Can I personally just say, though, personally, I actually would love to see Rhea Ripley win this. But what I was saying before was that I just feel like Charlotte Flair is going to win. But I do agree with both sides as well.
It's a match that I'd be okay with either side winning, truly.
Yeah.
I love both of these stars a lot. And Rhea Ripley was one of the biggest reasons why I started watching NXT UK. And it blows my mind how good she is, and for being as young as she is, too. But either way, I'm just betting it's going to be a great match.
For sure.
I'd be okay with either one of them winning, but
yeah, me too.
It's just weird. You're gonna have that. There's always that big chance that she will win. Like, Charlotte is definitely still that person that will draw the ratings, and they know that. That's basically why this match is happening. But I do know there's an NXT person going against her in WrestleMania. That's pretty big.
But will Charlotte be moving to NXT if she wins the title? That's the thing. Is she wanting to come off of the main stage? Will she actually win it, because she'll be looking to move to NXT then if she becomes the champion?
It's a great
So that's another thing to think about. She's not going to be with her man Andrade. I don't know. So maybe Rhea does have a good chance of winning, because
I
unless
think if she
Charlotte's just
does win, it's gonna. I'm also really thinking Bianca's gonna interfere in this match.
Mm.
I really
There's
do,
the
because
high.
Bianca
There's
has
the
been
high.
kind of feeling left out of this. I feel like, you know how she's been, and I love that about it. She's been kind of inserting herself in a lot of these like feuds
Romans. Yeah.
moments between these
Especially
two.
because if you watched Takeover as well, it's kind of like she's kind of like an afterthought now, you know?
Yeah.
And
been pushed
she's
aside.
not the type of girl that's going to sit there and
She's
let
not gonna
herself
just sit
get
there.
put as a side thought, you know? She going to come out. So I would love to see even Bianca involve herself some way, to be honest. I really wouldn't
Even
mind
if
that.
it gives Rhea the cheap win, I think
Mm.
I'd be okay with
I
it.
think everyone would be happy with that, because
Yeah.
it still
Yeah.
had her involvement.
At the end of the day, I don't care who wins it. Rhea can win, Charlotte can win. I'm gonna be okay either way. It's just a match that I really, really, really want to see.
Yeah.
I can see that happening too, because like Charlotte Flair is technically on Raw, and so is Bianca Belair's husband, so she can come and call Charlotte the match and then go to Raw and start a feud with her. Because I've been kind of expecting her to come to Raw for a while now, because typically, you know, they don't separate married couples.
Yeah,
So it just
and with Montez Ford being champion, obviously it's kind of like makes sense if he's gonna be champion for a long time, be a long time runner, then that should be coming up, isn't it?
And then after Bianca's done with Charlotte Flair, she can go after Becky and take that title.
Hey,
That's a match I want.
that's if Becky actually would. That's if Becky actually
If
survives.
Becky actually wins, so yes.
Let's
That's
hope
gonna
that
be a
Shayna
big
Baszler
deal.
keeps that mouth guard on, yeah, no biting.
Oh, God.
All right, so now let's move on to the next match. Brock Lesnar defending the WWE Championship against the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble winner, Drew McIntyre. So now the order's going to change a little bit since you know, the camera was rearranged. So now I'll start with Gina. How do you feel about that match?
Oh, I'm quite excited. I mean, I'm so excited for Drew getting this push. It's about time he's getting this push. And even just, again, the build up for me has just made it even better, because like Brock's actually been involved. He's been around to build on this feud since the Royal Rumble. And I actually loved that the Raw where he sort of did his drop kick on him 3 times. It was just brilliant. I had to watch that again. It just made me so happy. I sound so lame, but I'm a big fan of Drew McIntyre. Seeing him come up from where he started as well, I can't help but always laugh at the 3-man band. It just brings me so much joy thinking about it.
We do
So
not
to
speak
see
of
him
that.
go from that. Seeing him come up from that to where he is now, it just makes me super excited to see him in this match. And he's quite a charismatic person as well, so he does have that likable factor, so you do find yourself smiling when you're just watching him speak and have his charm. Just to see him go, he's like the complete opposite type of personality to Brock as well. I think it's going to be a great and entertaining match. Make things a bit more of a variety rather than just Brock come in, smash like the Hulk, and then just, you know, tap out. So I'm really excited. I do think that Drew's going to win. I really do. I think it's his time. So for me, it's Drew all the way.
And how about you, Bree?
Man, we need a new champ. We need a new champ, like, as of yesterday. Like, I personally 100%, like, I don't dislike Brock, but I really don't like this idea of, like, having this dude hold the belt and we only see him, like, a couple times. Like, I think it just, for me, it's just not fun. It doesn't make me excited for matches. But when Drew McIntyre won for Royal Rumble, I mean, we in this household popped our shit off. So, like, I want to continue that momentum. I want Drew to win, like, 110%. No devil's advocate here. Like, I think that we need a new champ. 1, 2, Drew is over. He was over before. I mean, people wanted him back long time, like before Royal Rumble, and there was like a lot of rumor about him coming back. Like, I don't know if anyone noticed on Twitter, like all the rumors, and like people were like, "Where's Drew? He should come back." Like, we were like, Drew. he came out, he said I was gonna be a Royal Rumble. He comes to Royal Rumble and wins, and then we're just like, wow, because we all thought Brock was gonna win that, and or I don't think it was Brock. No, it was someone else. I don't know who we thought was gonna win. I'm sure Seth. You know, we all had the different ideas of who it was gonna be, but for WWE to put Drew out there to get his shot, I mean, that was something that we all wanted. We were just kind of like, what is this? Like, and so if he goes to WrestleMania this year in a week, and like he loses against Brock in like 7 seconds, like they did with Kofi, I swear I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm going to lose it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the bullshit. I need you to win. That is my argument, and I'm sticking with it.
All right, how do you feel about this, Tim?
Well, obviously I want Drew to win this, but part of me wants Brock to retain. But before you guys blast me out of this room, please let me explain this. I want
All
Drew
right,
to
come
win
on,
this
try and salvage this. Come on, let's hear it.
I want Drew to win this in front of a crowd.
Okay,
that's my biggest thing.
Fair.
That's my biggest thing. Now, regardless, I'm not going to be mad if Drew wins at WrestleMania. It's what I really want. But part of me wants Drew to get that big crowd pop that we know he's going to get if he gets that belt. So there's part of me that wants this match or this feud to continue till SummerSlam. I'm a little conflicted on this one, I'll be honest. I mean, at the end of the day, I want Drew to win. But it's the lack of the crowd that makes me conflicted over this.
Well, it's the hope as well that there will be a crowd by SummerSlam as well.
Oh God, let's hope.
But no, and but like I said in the another podcast me and JT did, we had mentioned about Drew being he was always like someone's lackey or always someone's like bodyguard or something, and I'm really glad that Drew is finally getting into that solo spotlight that he should have always been in. Like, this guy looks like a main eventer. He's got the skills. He's got the look. He's a legit looking badass. This guy should have always been in the big spotlight. And I'm really glad he's finally getting that. But there is, like I said, but at the end of the day, I definitely want Drew to have this belt. I think it would be great. But then part of me thinks, are we going to get another Seth Rollins incident where we're just going to get sick of Drew and then we want a new champion, and then Vince is going to put the belt back on Brock, and then we're going to have another Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Like, I don't want to see the process get repeated like that. That's kind of where I'm a little like, I don't want to say I want Brock out of the company. Like, there are a lot of moments with Brock that, as much as I dislike him, the bank, when he was doing Brock Party, I thought that was very enjoyable. Or like when Brock didn't realize that he had a year to cash in the briefcase. Like, there are moments with Brock that, as much as he irritates me, I find really entertaining. But I just hope that we don't get another just recycled champion again. Like, I don't want Drew to have a reign and then Brock a few months later get it back and then have this whole process get repeated. That's kind of what I'm getting bored of. But no, I am all in agreement with you. I want Drew to win it. But I'm just gonna hate not hearing the crowd pop for Drew when he hits those claymores. And because here's how I imagine it. I imagine a few claymores. Get one or two claymores in there, and then Drew's going to go in for the final claymore, and he's going to get that whole stadium going, count down the claymore, the 3, 2, 1, and then hear that crowd pop for that claymore. Like, that was a moment I was looking so forward to this year, because I love hearing this crowd pop for Drew, and it's been so entertaining.
Yeah, like when I was at the viewing party for the Royal Rumble, everyone in that bar just like popped like crazy. Actually, I have to find that video and post it on Twitter. But I was just so amazed at how like many fans there were of Drew, because I know for a while people just didn't really care for him. at least from what I saw. But
look at how he was booked. I mean, he was
3
always
MVP.
somebody's
Yeah,
bodyguard,
was.
his lackey. Sorry, he
Yeah,
should have
which is
never
like
been
a
teaming
side
up with Shane
man.
McMahon. Or he should have never been with like Braun or Ziggler. Like this guy is a legit looking solo star, and that's how he should have been booked. And I'm just glad he's finally getting it. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm. I
sure.
totally agree. So, what's your opinions on this match, Jaxie?
I mean, I have to agree with what everyone said. I personally, I'm one person that just can't let go of things. So Brock doing the dutty on Kofi 6 seconds in, I'm like, I'm so done with you. I'm over you. I just don't want you in the picture anymore. I know personally he's a lovely guy in real life. I hear it all the time, Daniel Bryan and even Drew McIntyre saying how great he is. But you don't understand, like,
She
doing
can
that
hold
to
a grudge.
Kofi after all that build up. No, that cut me. That cut me deep. So I just want Brock not to be the champion at the moment. So I am too much Team Drew. And even though I agree with Tim that I think that having the crowd pop, hearing Drew's Claymore kicks would just be so much better, I don't want to see more of a feud with him. I'm done with Brock. And I also think that I agree with your worries, Tim, about it being like another sort of Seth Rollins, like repeated sort of storylines. But the only reason why I don't think that's going to happen is because we now have Paul Heyman on Raw, and he's
That
not
is true.
just
I kind of
added
forgot about
Brock.
that.
Yeah, and he's actually been a huge fan of Drew McIntyre's as well. So and even Brock is a huge fan of Drew's. So I do see this going in Drew's favor and him winning, but I see this being completely different compared to that of said like the latest run of Seth Rollins where everyone just kind of booed him after. I think that Drew's got so much character within himself really to keep that crowd like continuously entertained and ongoing, as well as he worked brilliantly with all the wrestlers we've seen him feud with so far. So it's going to be great to see him be able to kind of branch out and cement with people other than Brock. But I also, I think that Paul Heyman's done so well with Raw so far. I think that, or hope, that this means that the content is just going to continuously get better, and having Drew in the picture, who we all know will be a guaranteed full-time champion, is what we need right now. We don't need a part-time champion like Brock. And even though, it's been good having Brock consistently on the show for this WrestleMania build-up, who's to say that if he was champion, just go off the scene until Christmas again? Like I'm done with that. Take the belt off him, have him come back every now and again, like like a WrestleMania match. Like he is a beast. So just always have that like Chad Gable type that you want to build up throughout the year, and each year put Brock in a match with them. Like, don't keep putting the belt on him. I'm done.
Like, I'm okay with using Brock. Just keep him away from the belt. We can still use him to put over other stars.
Exactly.
You know, I hate him, but like I said before, I enjoy Brock at times.
I enjoy him. I just I don't respect the 6-second decision on Kofi, and it really hurt me.
I'm still salty about that. Like
I am really salty about it still,
I've
because
never
it just
gotten
feels
over
like
that.
you're just being made to like let it go over our heads. I'm not like that. If I saw Brock in real life, I'd be like, oh my god, I'm your biggest fan. But where you did Kofi Dudley, me and you, let's go at it. That's how I think. I'm gonna hold on to that for a while because WWE aren't addressing it, so I'll have to address it.
Someone's got to do it, right? No, but I think,
and it's got to be me, obviously.
and I will make a point though about like the crowds and like wanting the pop, because I definitely understand that, because we discussed that on our podcast that we recorded 2 days ago, and I made the point that like if we continue to kind of push storylines past WrestleMania, like if we let people retain, I worry that WrestleMania loses its flair in a way. Like if we're not gonna be doing the stuff that takes the chances, like we're not gonna give Drew the belt, or we're not gonna give or we're gonna give Charlotte, it kind of continues to push those storylines to SummerSlam, and then SummerSlam becomes a big thing, and WrestleMania loses what made WrestleMania, I think. And then it goes into that conversation of should have been postponed, but we're not gonna get into that. But I did want to make that point that show must go on somewhere.
So D, now it's your turn.
Well, I am just finally happy that Brock is actually doing some kind of work because I've just been bored. Sorry, I've been bored. It's just nice to see that he's actually putting in some work after how many years of doing nothing, really. And Team Drew all the way. Team Drew all the way. Like, he just has to win. If, like, I have to sit through Brock being champ for another 2 months, I just can't be bothered. I really can't. I won't be able to sit through it and watch it. I mean, if he brings back his funny segments, of course, those are all great. But for champ, nah, let's just keep him as a sideshow. You know, comes back every now and again and does whatever he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
But it's Team Drew all the way, definitely.
All right, now for me, and I know you probably won't be popular amongst us, but I'm actually a fan of Brock Lesnar. I've always loved him since he came back in 2012.
I loved him as well.
You don't want it with the belt.
But I will say I am over him as a champion. I really enjoyed his WWE title reign, the first one when he beat John Cena, and I enjoyed his Universal title reign too. He had some really good matches during them feuds. Like his matches with John Cena were great. I loved his match with Samoa Joe. Like, and
I actually would have loved to have like continued that feud because I thought those two were so great. So that was one of my favorite sort of title runs of Brock. But he doesn't need the title. He doesn't.
He doesn't
just
need
give
the
him
title.
a really good feud. Just give him a really good feud.
My big issue with Brock Lesnar's title reigns is they all seem to be kind of like what Tim mentioned. They're just constantly recycling the same storylines. They put the title on Brock Lesnar just to have him always drop it at either WrestleMania or SummerSlam. He's never dropped that title at just a regular pay-per-view. And the thing is, I feel like it's kind of taken away from the whole point of him giving the title. It's supposed to be like a passing of the torch kind of thing. And if you keep putting the title on Lesnar only for him to constantly keep dropping in at WrestleMania or SummerSlam, I feel like the matches become predictable and it loses that player. I would actually rather him beat Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania and then drop it at like Money in the Bank, which would make it less predictable, and it gives we'll have a crowd. And it lets Drew McIntyre chase. Sometimes the chase is, the best part. Like Kofi Kingston, that his chase to the WWE Championship was amazing.
It was.
His title run was good, but it didn't have that same flair as the chase, in my opinion. So I would rather Drew chase for, another month or so, and then it gives him the opportunity to actually win it in front of a crowd. And at the same time, it makes things unpredictable because WWE also, it seems like every WrestleMania there's like 6-7 title changes at WrestleMania too. Like they need to chill out with that because it's also taken away from the whole predictability part. But at the end of the day, like I said, I do like Brock. I just hate when they do those squash matches for him. He's not Goldberg. Goldberg could do squash matches because that spear and that jackhammer is so intense. That F5 it's cool. Like I don't want to like him going in there for 6 seconds F5 and something that's not that interesting in my opinion.
Can we stop bringing up the Kofi incident?
Oh,
it's so painful.
Literally, I don't think me and Jaxie could speak when that moment happened. We were just gobsmacked staring at each other. The room had crickets going. There was just no words to be said.
Yeah. I don't think I could even watch the rest of the show. Like my eyes were just constantly looking down like
like, oh my God, it's Cain Velasquez. Who?
I didn't know who that guy was.
I knew who he was because I watch a lot of UFC, but no, I feel like 90% of wrestling Twitter was like, I know that another popular thing I saw is that everybody thought it was like Dominic just got really, really jacked up and got his head shaved or something because he came out there with Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, but seriously though, like Dominic, you've only done like 619, yeah? So like don't get too ahead of yourself and thinking that you can take on the likes of Brock Lesnar. You ain't on that level yet.
But just to insert this real quick, I don't think that was another perfect example of Brock not needing the belt for that match. That could have just been a simple Brock could have redeemed himself from the whole UFC loss and then continued forward but
like he could have started the feud with Rey Mysterio like all it being about his son, like not actually needing the belt, like that could have been in a different picture. But yeah.
Right.
My only thing with that too is I thought the whole idea of having Brock Lesnar winning the title was because they get more, ratings for SmackDown, but then he takes the title and goes to Raw, which kind of defied the whole.
That was so weird.
Stupid move, honestly.
Because we all thought Brock was going to SmackDown after that.
Yeah, it made sense to help, with Fox and the ratings and all that, but apparently there was a change of heart.
I mean, but he's a part-time champ, so to be honest, even if they think that it's going to bring in views, if he's not on all the shows, he's not bringing the views, is he?
No.
Exactly.
I think it was just the whole pop and the whole idea of thinking that the champion, of Fox is a big name guy like Brock Lesnar, but one thing I wanted to go over, I didn't think about bringing this up before the recording. So there's a total of 14 matches on here for the card. Do you just want to focus on the primary matches? Because some of these matches were...
I mean, to be honest, I was actually going to bring this up because I don't know if you guys have heard the most recent news, but so I've read and heard that Andrade has decided that he wants to pull out of WrestleMania.
I heard that.
I did hear that too, yeah.
Really?
So I don't actually know if the tag team championship is still going forward.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing. And that was a random match anyway.
They rumored that they were going to be bringing Austin Theory in as Angel Garza's tag partner. But where's the logic in that? Where does that come from? There's
He's
no
only
connection.
just being built up.
That's what I mean. And there's no connection. He and Angel Garza haven't even had a fight, haven't even conversed. It makes no sense. I'm confused. So maybe let's just not discuss that one because I don't know if that's actually happening. I also don't think that the female tag team championships match is going forward either.
Yeah, I heard
that Kyrie's pulled out.
I thought it was Asuka that was pulled out.
Oh, well, maybe they both did then because I heard Kyrie.
Yeah, that match is probably going to get scrapped.
Why is that match
I haven't seen Kyrie in the past couple of weeks either.
She wasn't on SmackDown.
Yeah, because Kyrie wasn't on SmackDown, so there was rumors that she was either had a high temperature and was sent home, or that she requested not to come in, which is why they only had Asuka be Alexa Bliss. But yeah, so maybe both of them requested actually, like, can we sit out of this one? So they would. I don't know if there's going to be a tag team match. Let's maybe not discuss that either. Yeah. Also, no one cares. 0 F's given about Baron Corbin versus Elias. So I'm pretty sure.
Thank you, God. Thank you.
I'm pretty sure Elias is dead. He got the Mufasa death. Like, that is it. Like, that is all I saw.
I love Baron Corbin, but that is kind of a weird WrestleMania match. Like that, I don't think that's something we need.
It really wasn't, and it just kind of felt like they were just trying to recreate what Ciampa and Johnny Gargano did on NXT like a couple weeks ago, and I wasn't there for it. So
I was getting Lion King vibes from it. The whole "Long Live the King." And
yeah, definitely got like the sort of I killed Mufasa type thing. We're trying to chuck him off in it.
And then the other random match too, I didn't even know this was a match until I just saw on Wikipedia. Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley. Is there even a real feud there?
Nothing has been for this match.
Where's Rusev? Are we gonna even discuss this? Like, what? Let's not discuss.
No, I think this one's another match.
But I remember it was one of you that I was like texting, or not texting, but I had tweeted one of you guys. I can't remember. I think it was Jaxie. And I was like, watch, they're going to pull this Bobby Lashley thing over the WrestleMania. But I guess we were wrong because they're not Aleister Black, because that makes sense. Why? This seems
There's been no build, though. If they wanted to do this match at WrestleMania, why not start a build as soon as the Rusev stuff ended?
It could.
But they didn't.
Can I just ask, like, have they even had a match on Raw? Because I
don't think so.
I'm struggling to think if they've even faced each other before. So where has this match come from? It's Vince McMahon. I can tell already. It's just Vince. He walked in one morning and just went, I want Bobby Lashley versus Aleister Black. Done.
You're dog
Don't
with it.
ask given about the context, just make it happen.
Yeah. See, I haven't watched Raw since the Raw after Royal Rumble, so I can't even really say what's going on. I was tweeting.
You haven't missed much. That's the messed up part.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got
I
to
mean, the
point.
shows have been great until this recent crap was happening, but no, we had a lot of good like Brock and Drew moments. Freaking Mysterio and Andrade were delivering some really amazing matches. Raw's been good.
Good match.
It's just now
but
that
I mean, like, it's not really
ring
been.
hit,
I feel like
just kind of.
Yeah, I feel like it's really hard to because I could see sometimes the wrestlers struggling to kind of keep that momentum going without the crowd as well. So yeah, I think there has been a struggle, but not necessarily always because of bad content. I think there's been some good matches on Raw so far there.
I agree.
All right. So this the next match is a match that I thought was, people are talking about that was scrapped, but as of right now it's still being advertised, and that's Goldberg defending the Universal title against Roman. Probably gonna get postponed until like Money in the Bank maybe, and because I think it's supposed to be Braun Strowman taking Roman's spot, but I don't know. I'm just confused what's real and what's not on, social.
I have heard this rumor as well about it being Braun Strowman.
But
so let's just go with the idea of this match is actually gonna happen.
Again, as in Roman?
Yeah. Because as of right now, it's still advertised. I mean, and even if it doesn't happen, I'm sure they'll just have it happen at the next pay-per-view. I don't see Braun Strowman or Matt Riddle, whoever they will replace him with, actually beating Goldberg.
Well, we all know that Reigns has definitely pulled out of the match. I mean, he's even tweeted it and everything.
Oh, he did tweet it? I didn't see that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he has officially pulled out. And I have seen countless tweets about it being Braun Strowman, so that's what I'm going with, personally.
I guess we could just go with Braun Strowman then, and
Like, can I just say, if they were going to put in a match so random like Bobby Lashley versus Aleister Black, I'd prefer if they would have just randomized it and said, you know what, let's have Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg. I think I'd actually rather that than
that would be a cool match.
Strowman.
That would be a cool match, actually.
Yeah, I'm not really.
Only because like Braun's like not really been on the show much since losing to Sami Zayn, wasn't it?
Sammy. In the
I'm still happy Sammy won, and I won't lie.
I love Sami Zayn, but I think it would make more sense for it to be Bobby versus Goldberg than Braun. And I'm still confused that Braun's being chucked around as being rumored to fight him. I don't see why.
Because, I mean, Bobby, he does the spear too, so they can still do the whole spear versus spear concept.
Also, can I does it not like make real sense like to get like a lot more viewers as well? Because like last night they could have definitely just been like, right, okay, so we've had to have Roman pulled out the match. Why don't we have a big massive battle royale to see who's gonna face him? That would have been so enticing, and they probably would have gotten a lot more viewers in last night if they'd have actually had that instead of replaying 2016's Triple H versus Roman Reigns. Like, my issue with them replaying that was like that was the time that everyone booed Roman. Why are you showing it?
Yeah.
Well, I think the issue with like a battle royal is they're not trying to do any big like multi-people matches, because I know there's that rule with like 10 people in a room at a time, because they usually do those like the Andre the Giant battle royal match every WrestleMania.
It could have even been like a triple threat or something like that.
They could have done something,
like, just to kind of, it just seems really random to all of a sudden go, okay, Roman's out, Braun's in.
Well, they haven't officially announced that, so they could actually do something like that this week on Raw.
Well, let's see, because Dave Meltzer talks a lot of shit sometimes.
Even listens to him, seriously.
No, I don't know.
But I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, I just know that Braun Strowman, assuming it's him, he's probably not going to win. I mean,
I could see it being Goldberg retaining, and then Reigns will return and say, "Hey, I never got my match." Something, like I in the long run, I think it's going to be Reigns that gets the.
Well, I mean, to be honest, they've already kind of proved on SmackDown that what Roman wants, Roman gets, because he kind of walked out and said, "I'm next."
Me.
So I can already imagine him coming back once, this whole thing dies down and being like, "Remember me?" So.
What about Goldberg versus Seth?
Goldberg versus Seth.
I kind of wouldn't mind just watching Seth get demolished by Goldberg.
Honestly, would not be like the.
Nah, he's not with Kevin Owens, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, it's speculation. We don't know. Roman pulled out.
Does anyone else have anything else to touch on with the whole Goldberg, whoever he's fighting and all that?
I think Goldberg probably can lose because isn't he really kind of more of that person that's there?
Part-time, yeah.
Yeah. I just think they want to give him Roman Reigns the rub from Goldberg. So if that's the whole plan of making Roman the next big star, I think they can probably hold off for a month, keep Goldberg as champion for a little longer.
If they are going through with Braun, I do see Goldberg retaining, and then it's going to be Reigns down the line whenever he returns and whenever all this drama stops.
It would be different if Braun was being
missed
built
their
up
opportunities to put that belt on Braun. And
I mean, can I just add though? If they wanted to like make us happy, like he doesn't even have to win the title, but I really want to see Matt Riddle versus Goldberg. Can we not?
I want to see that too, just because of real life.
I know that like Vince and Goldberg like hate it, but I mean, come on, give us it. Like we all want it. So just like use what's going on right now to your advantage and just let us have it. Just throw anyone against Goldberg. Like give us the most entertaining one that everyone is actually guaranteed to watch, which is Matt Riddle versus Goldberg. Just give us it.
I just don't know if Goldberg wants to even work with them because he seemed pretty irritated with them when they had that altercation.
I know, but
I'm not your bro.
Or like if you're really irritated by it, then go and like beat him up in the ring. Yeah,
exactly. Now I can see.
I mean, if that was me and I had someone just really irritating, like just constantly, calling me out, I'd be like, do you know what? Yeah, let's get in the ring. Let me beat on you.
All right, so next match, and I think this will be an exciting match to talk about. Becky Lynch defending the Women's Championship against Shayna Baszler. Gina, go.
I don't really know how I feel about this match. I think if they had built on this a bit longer, maybe I'd be a bit more excited. I'm not saying that I'm not. Yeah, I'm not really excited for it for some reason. I can't necessarily say it's not because I dislike either of them, because I actually really like both Becky and Shayna. I don't know if, again, I just think it's a bit of a short build that I'm not very excited. They're both definitely good wrestlers, and I do think that they're going to put on a great match. The Elimination Chamber was exciting to watch as well with Shayna. I would have liked just a little bit for some of the others to have given Shayna a bit more of a fight and before she put them all down, but it definitely built on her sort of, bad bitch mentality sort of thing. So I think they definitely are going to have good chemistry with each other because they're both quite dominant and they both want to bring across their dominant sides, make the other one submit. To win it, for some reason, I want Shayna to win, but I don't see her winning. I want Shayna to win just because I think Becky's slightly had the belts a bit too long now. We could do with a bit of change,
1 year.
Take Becky down and be like, oh, yeah, I not that I desperately want her to lose, but I kind of want her to lose. I think Shayna would be wicked as well as being like the evil villain who's come and take the belt and is just going to dominate the women. You know, all the women are just going to be, you know, sort of trying to chase after her, but she just keeps knocking them down. So I think it would be really good if Shayna did win. For some reason, though, I just don't see it going that way. I see Becky still keeping it. I don't know. I think Vince wants her holding this belt as long as she can. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think Becky's going to win it for some reason. I want Shayna to, though.
And one thing I wanted to add to that, don't forget that they were technically feuding back during Survivor Series. Obviously, Bayley was a part of that too. So this is kind of like a continuation to that feud.
True.
It was just kind of them, you know, rekindling the fire to it. But
maybe they can do another like flashback to that, remind us a bit of it. Maybe it'll get
I think they should.
More pumped for it. Yeah.
Because some people probably forgotten. It's like, oh yeah, remember this? You know.
I mean, you just reminded me of that. To be honest.
Now, Tim, I know you got a lot to say about this. I know you're a big Becky fan.
Honestly, I don't have a whole lot to say on this. I mean, Becky is one of those wrestlers that she is one of the biggest reasons why I got back in the WWE. The first match I watched was SummerSlam 2018, and I came in right at the beginning of that women's triple threat match. Becky was just one of those wrestlers that just instantly resonated with me. I loved her. I thought she was awesome. I've been pulling for her hard ever since. I just really like her. She's down to earth. She's great. She's a fun wrestler. But to me, it just seems like Shayna is going to be the pick here. But I also don't know if putting the belt on Shayna is the best thing to do going forward. Simply because, like, as much as I love Shayna, she hasn't really been getting that crowd vibe or that crowd reaction since she started having these matches on Raw or SmackDown or Elimination Chamber, or even I feel like the crowd's been kind of dead for her. Like, she's not getting that NXT reaction, which we can all agree that NXT crowd is
the best.
They're such a great crowd.
They are.
So I don't know. At the end of the day, I want Becky to be the one to win. But I also think, I mean, a change could be good. You know, I know Becky can't hold it forever. I don't expect her to. I wouldn't be mad if she did. But I don't know if putting the belt on Shayna is going to get that crowd reaction that Becky can do. I mean,
what crowd?
Well, you know what I mean.
Don't forget, it's an empty arena.
Well, yeah, I know. But I'm talking about obviously when they
just in general.
Yeah. I just don't know. Like, part of me's thinking Shayna's a good NXT crowd wrestler. I don't know if. I mean, like I said, I can't stress this enough. I personally still love Shayna, but I don't know if she's bringing in that big crowd reaction like the Raw and SmackDown stages have.
Yeah, because
that's kind of where I'm conflicted.
A lot of, you know, your Raw and SmackDown fans are casual fans that are not familiar with Shayna. And Shayna Baszler, I feel like she's one of those wrestlers that she needs to grow on you. Myself and even other friends that I have, we weren't really that big of Shayna fans at first. And just during her title reign, she just kind of grew on us. So it's just kind of, fans just aren't familiar with her and haven't gotten attached to her yet. That's just, you know, my opinion, and probably why she's not connecting to the fans yet.
But that's also why I don't know if putting the belt on her right now is going to be the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be okay with it. Like, if Shayna does win that belt, I mean, I've already come to accept the fact that this may be the end of Becky's streak. I mean, holding that belt for over a year. I mean, I can't be mad about that. But I guess I'm just a little conflicted in this match because I don't really know what the best choice going forward would be. Because, I mean, if Becky wins, who else does she have left? But then if Shayna wins, she's still kind of a new star on Raw and SmackDown that I don't know if she's going to have that same draw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, like, with Becky, there's really nobody unless, like, I mean, Ember Moon, you don't know when she's coming back and if she even goes.
Her.
Yeah, me too. And then I don't want to see Becky and Charlotte again right now that they did that to death. So it's kind of like,
I mean, it has been a while since we've had a Becky and Charlotte, so maybe reigniting
No, I'm
that would have
done.
been
We literally had like sorry, not even like. Let me just stop you right there because no offense, like even if we have another Becky v Charlotte, which okay, you've done it countless times, right? Sorry, but then we also, whilst Becky's still champion, we've also had a tag team with them together, and they don't like each other. We get it. There's so many other women.
No, I agree. I want them to start putting other women in the spotlight. Like I said, no, I'm just a little torn in this match. Like I'm sure the match will still be great. I just, like I said, just going forward, I don't know what the best choice would be, and I don't. I just see it. I see it being a bit of a struggle going forward, no matter who retains the belt.
Yeah, I mean, I got stuff to add too, but I'll wait till it gets to my turn. I don't want to kind of, jump ahead of other people.
Hey, I finally got all of your messages on Twitter.
I was about to say all the messages are coming through.
Yep.
All right, Bree, so now it's your turn.
I gotta say, the more that I think about it, I think I have probably one of the more pessimistic views about this match. My one very controversial thing that I really don't think I would want to see this at year's WrestleMania. I believe Gina's right. We didn't have enough build up. Two, Becky, I feel like at this point, her and Shayna to some degree have not really have been getting that pull and that pop from crowds previously, and in the atmosphere of like wrestling.
Put yourself on mute. Gina, put yourself on mute.
He's in timeout.
I guess like if Becky wins, who else does she run through at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Shayna. I love Shayna like a lot, but I also believe she doesn't have the pull either. I don't think that putting the belt on her right now is a good choice. This is like one of the matches where I feel like it's been booked into a corner because they announced it. They thought like, Royal Rumble would be the moment that like that would put both of them over, and we would be like, oh man, I can't wait for WrestleMania. And I don't really think that really happened. But at that point, they had already like set it up to be that, and they've spoken into existence. And now, really thinking about it, if Becky wins. As much as I love Becky, I was a huge Becky fan when she won. Like last WrestleMania, through even before that, after WrestleMania last year, loved Becky, but she kept the belt way too long, and that's why we're in this situation now. I have my personal opinions of who she should have dropped it to long before now, and we're now in this corner of like Shayna's doing a lot of extra, Becky's doing a lot of extra so that we can get excited for it, and I don't feel like it's worked. It's because of that. I don't know. I really don't know who could win this one. I know there was a lot of rumors for Shayna to move to Raw, and that was a huge rumor that went around long before Royal Rumble, probably before TLC, back to Survivor Series, like you had mentioned. And everyone was like, Shayna's going to Raw. And the way she's going to do that would have to be if she goes up against Becky. But I don't necessarily think WrestleMania should have been the time for that. But I also feel like Vince to Becky is like his new Stone Cold. So if she's going to lose it anywhere, it's got to be at something big like WrestleMania. It can't be at like Hell in a Cell or TLC. It needs to be at WrestleMania. But I don't think that – I think they were booked into a corner with this one. And because of that, I really can't say who I think is going to win this one. I really have no clue.
Quick question for you. When you said who should have beat Becky for the belt, who was it? Just quick
curiosity. Well, my most unpopular opinion was Hell in a Cell. Because I am like one of those people that I'm really a sucker for redemption arcs. So when like Sasha left And after that last WrestleMania, she took a break. Everyone thought she was going to AEW because she was like liking all their tweets, and like she unfollowed everyone on social media. And the people that are real fans of her will follow that, and they will like drag that shit onto like conspiracy theories. And so I'm thinking, wow, she may not come back. And then when she did come back, I was like, all right, I'm fucking ready for Sasha to just like come back and do the big thing. And like the next pay-per-view is Hell in a Cell. So I actually went to that show in California. And I'm
lucky.
Not wait for Sasha to fucking win. And so that was like one of the matches that I've come back to, because that's the one that
that's the match that's most sour for you.
Yeah, I
It was
really,
such a good match,
really thought that she could have dropped it to Sasha, and it would have not been as. I don't think people would have been too. Well, I can't say what people would have thought, but I thought she could have lost the belt to Sasha, and it could have built up some more things going forward. But I do know Sasha was going to move to SmackDown, so that wouldn't have happened.
Right.
I would have loved to see Asuka in like a title. But
preferably one that doesn't involve Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say. I mean, I think if I'm going to take a safe shot, I'm going to say Becky will retain. But like, think about this, y'all. Like, who is she going to fight later? Because
Charlotte Flair.
No. Okay, fine, I can do it, but like I'm just not gonna watch it because
No, I agree. I see what you're saying.
Through the ringer.
It's kind of booked into a corner. I feel like I 100% agree with what you were saying.
Well, going back to what I mentioned earlier, we talked about Bianca coming to Raw. What if Becky retains and then Bianca goes after her?
You know, I actually had a thought about, at this point, I feel like Bianca could easily just kind of say, forget NXT. I mean, she's already proven to be a big star in NXT. Like, she's never won the NXT belt, but she's a freaking star. I got to thinking to myself, maybe we could just say, you know what, Bianca, come up to Raw and start feuding with some of these women on Raw and SmackDown.
I can just imagine Bianca.
I don't think she needs that NXT
be like,
belt.
you know what? Hold my
She really
earrings.
doesn't.
Give me my belt. You know, that sort of thing.
I really don't think Bianca needs to win an NXT belt before moving over to Raw or SmackDown. She's ready. Like, yeah.
Because Bianca has mainstream, potential. Because NXT at the end of the day is always going to be limited with its audience. More people are always going to gravitate towards Raw because of the history and the name. Bianca she's face of the material, face of the division material. She has it all. She has the looks, the skills, the charisma, the gimmick, the character. She can go to Raw and just be the next big star. And she's everything that, Vince McMahon likes. I mean, she's gorgeous as well. Like, it's like, how can you not want to revolve your division around someone like her? So I think it would, and I'm actually glad Bianca didn't get added to that NXT title match, which was something I wanted her to get added to originally, because I want her to win, regardless of what title it is. I want her to win it in front of a crowd. I think she deserves that moment. But, I mean, that's a possibility if Becky does retain. We could, have Bianca come. Because that's also the big thing after WrestleMania. There's usually call-ups to Raw and SmackDown. I think Bianca, she's been in NXT since, 2016.
So we should do another prediction video on who could potentially be call-up, because that would be quite an interesting conversation.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun, too.
Feature episode.
Yeah. Gotta do it. We don't do it. Yeah, I think we could see Bianca come through this. I mean, that's a big possibility with everything going on. Everyone's desire to see her get pushed. Like Bianca coming in and interfering with the Rhea Ripley one or in this one. I mean, it could be a possibility, a very welcome one, might I add. So.
And clearly WWE's really high on her, and it irritates me on social media. People are quick to say she's buried just because she's not winning. She's always in the spotlight. She dominated that Survivor Series match. She dominated the Royal Rumble. They're clearly building her up, and and I see
MVP of Royal Rumble, hands down. No, hands down, she really was.
She was the star. She was the talk. And even during that her takeover match leading up to Rhea Ripley, she was the one everyone was talking about during them segments. Like, girl, you don't go here, all that stuff. Like, she's going to be a big star. Like, that that, just because they don't throw the title on you immediately when you gain traction, that doesn't mean they're burying you. That just means they're building up a story. Like with
They're
Kofi
confident
Kingston.
enough that you can carry yourself without needing the title to be able to be in the picture or
That,
to be relevant,
that too. And because me and Stephanie talk about it all the time, like with Kofi Kingston, when he got popular, if they would have just put the title on him at Fastlane, which was the original match that he was supposed to have, it wouldn't have felt as important if they built it up more and had him win at WrestleMania. So it's like they're probably doing that with Bianca. They're probably, maybe she'll win at SummerSlam. I don't know what, they had planned for her, but they're clearly building something for her.
I just know that I don't want to see her fight for the NXT belt again to lose a fourth time.
Yeah.
That's why I wasn't too keen on Bianca and Ripley at the latest takeover, because I was like 99% sure Bianca wasn't going to win it, especially with that being Rhea's first title defense, But regardless, somewhere
And there
down
was
the line,
already
Rhea
brewing
definitely.
with
Bianca's
Charlotte.
definitely going to be. I wouldn't be shocked if after the WrestleMania when we do the Superstar Shakeup, Bianca gets moved over to Raw or SmackDown. A match with her and Sasha would be great, or a match with her and or even her and Charlotte. I'd like to see that again, or her and Becky.
See that, yeah.
I think it's just time she moves over. Like, she doesn't need NXT anymore. She doesn't need that belt. She's already credited herself without being a champion. Move her over.
Move her over, yes. And I forgot about the shakeup. They usually do that after WrestleMania, so
usually about a week or two or a couple weeks. I want to
something like that. Yeah. So that's definitely a possibility if Becky wins. So Jaxie, you're up now for the match. I know you kind of put in some thoughts in it.
I'm going to actually surprise everyone here because I actually feel like Vince McMahon needs to hire me because my creative mind is just on point. So I'm actually going to go against what all of you guys have said. I'm actually really excited for this match, but I think it's because I've already built up this imagination of story in my head. So this is how I see things go. First of all, I love both women. I love Shayna Baszler, but on a personal level, I don't think she's experienced enough yet to carry the belt. I think that she needs to work more on. She's got a great character, but it doesn't. It's not resonating right now with current audience yet. Like not on the same level as other stars are. So I feel like it would do her good to move up to the main roster, but more for her to actually get a lot more experience when it's on the mic, as well as in the ring with probably bigger known stars. I think right now, obviously, even though I think that NXT is past developmental, I feel like she's only just starting to come into it. And personally, for me, I don't think that Shayna does, like, she didn't win the Royal Rumble. I don't think Shayna deserved to go straight in for that title shot. She should have been like Ronda. When Ronda first moved to WWE, yes, she was coming for, she said she wanted to come for the championship. But remember, when she first came into it, she was actually going through the whole roster of women. Shayna's not fought anyone on Raw or SmackDown right now. So for me, I'd actually like to see her in a few more matches, maybe even a couple of feuds on the main roster before she's ready for the picture. So I don't think she's ready. That being said, I actually would love it if Becky could retain it. I know that it has been quite long since she's had it, but they're kind of that's putting her on par with Ronda Rousey. So that's kind of keeping the option open. If Ronda decides to make a surprise comeback this year, she could be like, you want to try and act like me, you want to try and be like me and hold the title as long as I did, I'm coming for that back, or something like that. But my cherry on top of the cake, I want Nia Jax to come back, interrupt herself in that feud and start a feud with her and Becky, because Becky broke her nose. So I want to see her come back, and I want to actually see that get carried on. Like, I want Nia Jax to come back and be like, oh yeah, like, let's go for it. But I don't want Tamina in the background, like, like, you know, like, I want just a singles feud with Becky and Nia, because I actually think that could really work in her favor. And then maybe Becky loses it at SummerSlam, and then maybe Nia and Shayna can start actually having a really good build-up feud. So in my eyes, that's where I'm at. I might not be on popular opinions, but I'd like that to happen.
I'll be honest, I completely forgot about Nia Jax.
I totally.
Yeah, so sorry. That's my opinion.
And then D, I know you got something to say. I saw you covering
No,
your
I don't
face.
think you like what I said.
No, I just Nia Jax, nah. Okay, she's always coming for Sasha somehow, so I'm just nah, forget her. Becky, big fan, and this is gonna shock everyone. I want her to lose. Don't kill me. Don't kill me.
I'm not happy. I'd be
There's
happy.
a greater purpose for this. There's a greater purpose. I don't think Shayna is ready to hold the championship per se, but I think I love when Becky chases. I really, really do. Like, I've enjoyed her entire reign. Apart from Sasha should have won at Hell in a Cell, but that's a little salty here. But yeah. But I would like to see Becky lose and take a break and come back as a heel. You know,
Yeah, but like, I mean, every time they tried that before, no one. Should they try to make her a heel? No one liked
Come on.
it.
I mean, come on. You remember when she basically like stood up to Edge in the ring and the crowd was still chanting Becky? I'm sorry. If you're gonna if it's not gonna make someone hate Becky for shutting up Edge, it's not gonna work. I don't think Becky is one of those people you can turn into a full heel.
I don't
And then
people will still love her
it's not
too
gonna
much.
work. If Edge couldn't do it, I don't think anybody else can. I'm just gonna be completely honest.
I have to agree with Tim on that one.
well, I mean, she doesn't have to come back as a heel, but I think she needs a break and come back and reintroduce us to like a mix of the old Becky with the fire, like a little mixture. I think I want her a little bit more towards the dark side more now. But either way, whoever wins, the match just hasn't been a great build for me. Survivor Series was trash. I don't care what no one says, it was trash. It pissed me off to no end. But it was more so because of the Bayley thing that upset me more than anything. But the build hasn't been long enough, and Shayna does need to face the other women. If she wins, who does she face? She just squashed every woman in the Elimination Chamber. So they're not even legitimate. They're not legitimate. You know, there's no one really, unless again Ronda comes back.
It feels really lackluster for them to have had her squash everyone in Elimination Chamber to put the belt on her to then go into a feud with one of them. Like, mate, she's already squashed you. So
yeah,
like,
exactly.
there's no point in so I think if they did put the belt on her, the only thing I could see is like someone like Nia Jax returning, and then them feuding that way, because if they can't really put them in, who else are they going to put her in a feud with? Lana?
Oh no!
Come on. So yeah, if she does. I think if they put the belt on her, Nia Jax is coming back, and that will be the next feud.
Or maybe Ronda's surprise return.
No, because I think even if Ronda returns, they'll do the 4 horsewomen before Ronda decides to go off and have kids. Yes. So even if she does return, they would be like friends. They wouldn't be like they wouldn't pit each other against them.
I still want that 8-woman tag match.
I would too, and that's why I know that they wouldn't have Ronda come back and challenge for the title, because I know that it would be so much hype to see that 8-woman tag. So yeah, no point. Yeah. And we all know that
we get
Charlotte
and Becky being best friends again.
Yeah, a lot of people.
I feel like Becky and Charlotte actually could benefit from just being on separate brands. I'm really sorry. I don't need to see them on the same brands.
I need a Bayley versus Becky actual feud. That's what I need in my life right now. Like Bayley versus Becky, real feud.
I'd love that. I think I'd actually love that. Especially if we keep heel Bayley, because I love heel Bayley so much more. Yes. I really do.
Yeah, Bayley can't go face.
I, for one, only got back into wrestling in 2018, and the first thing that got me back into it was the first 30 female Royal Rumble. That was my first thing of Bayley. I'm not gonna lie. As soon as I saw her, I was like, no, I really don't like this character. The minute she turned heel, I was like, she's a badass bitch. Let's go. So I want to see her play on that more, and I would love Becky to lose the belt, go to SmackDown, and have a feud. I think that they'd do great.
Yeah, we need a real Sasha versus Becky feud anyways. It was just so short, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the one, in my opinion, the one good thing about Becky's title run was that feud with Sasha, because Becky, I forgot, one of y'all mentioned that you were a big fan of Becky winning the title, but then after that it kind of was But I think it was you, Brie, but because her feud with Lacey Evans just was horrible, and it was very long.
Yeah,
And then
I love Becky.
God.
We all know the only reason why Becky and Lacey were put into that feud was to also try and keep Corbin relevant, and also to play off the fact that Seth and Becky had just come out as a couple. It was like, we don't need that. Like, if you're a fan of the show, we know who you're dating. We love that outside of it. Don't bring it into wrestling. We don't need that. Yeah.
They were trying to book Becky as the next Stone Cold Steve Austin, and they're doing a love story.
Still are. They still are, though.
Yeah.
They still are.
Doesn't work.
Shade.
But going back to what you all were saying about Shayna, whether she's ready, for the title or not, I feel like it's just the way they've booked her ever since she came to the company. She came into NXT and very quickly won the NXT Women's title. They've always booked her as a monster, and I feel like if that's the plan for her, I feel like you kind of have to have her win. Like it or not.
So I understand what you're saying with that, because of it's very much female version of Brock Lesnar at this point, isn't it? That she comes in, she dominates, she takes what she wants, right? I get that, but WWE's problem is they put her on the developmental show first, which meant that not much of the main roster of fans or audience members really know who she is, so or can get behind her. So I think, even though I agree with what you're saying, it's not working the same way it does for Brock, because everyone's kind of well, I mean, there's other women that are going over you. So it's not the same effect that Brock's getting. So I just think that by trying to book her, that it just feels forced if they do put the title on her. It feels like they're trying to hurry up and get her up to the main roster. They don't need to put the title on her to do that. Wait until after, do the shake up, then bring her on, have her start, kind of cementing herself as a character and as a wrestler on the main shows that way. I think it would probably work better. But that's my own personal opinion. That being said, I actually am mutual in terms of whoever wins. I kind of agree with everyone saying I feel like Becky needs a break from WWE. She's obviously been planning to get married with Seth, so they really could do with some time off anyway. And I also think that it would be good to bring Becky off, because as much as I love her, I also think that is stopping other female wrestlers getting given certain opportunities, even not being about the title, just in terms of screen time. So it would be nice to kind of have this summer to introduce a whole new fresh array of characters, including Shayna, but getting them used to the audience more.
Yeah, they could kind of protect Shayna. If that were the case, they could do some kind of no contest with the two. They just start beating the crap out of each other and it gets out of hand, kind of like what they did with Becky and Sasha during that Clash of Champions match. They could do something to protect. And then maybe
that, or again, I think other people were saying with how they think that Bianca could interrupt the match, you could even have someone like Nia returning and interrupting. I know I keep bringing Nia up, but it's only because she's the only one I can think of who's currently injured that we know is due to return, because Ember Moon, we haven't really heard much, but I know that she's not ready. So, I mean, I'll be shocked if anyone else that we've forgotten returns. But yeah, maybe if she came back and was like, oh yeah, I'm still pissed off because I did get a chance at the title or whatever, I'm going to insert myself in the match, and it gets disqualified. You do it that way too, I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. So next match, John Cena versus The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. inside it's a Firefly Funhouse match, which I kind of have.
What is that?
Nobody knows.
It'll probably be like that House of Horror thing
Remember
that he did with Orton a few years ago.
I was going to say, I really feel like it's going to be exactly the same sort of setup with the Randy Orton match that he had in that little shed thing, but it's going to be in the Firefly Funhouse. And maybe we're going to have just like the Rambling Rabbit and all the other puppets just around, and they're just going to be used as props to
Well,
fight.
Rambling Rabbit got it.
Maybe that'll be the
so he won't be there.
commentators. How funny would it be if they were the commentators?
That would be actually kind of cool. I have a feeling they'll have something to do with match, even if they they have the like puppets and all like jump on John Cena or something like that, or do stuff to distract him. It'll probably be silly, but I think it'll be entertaining.
Exactly that. I think it's going to be silly but entertaining. But I see Bray winning.
Heck yeah, like they need to give Bray Wyatt his win back from WrestleMania 30, because I remember being so pissed off because they were building Bray up to be like the next big top heel, and then John Cena Superman comes in and just kills that man.
I'm just really bitter at it being Goldberg that was the one to ruin it. Like
I remember you being very, very upset about that on Twitter.
I was very opinionated on Twitter, I remember.
I was at work when Super Showdown was going, and I usually don't watch the Saudi shows, but no, when I learned that, I just was scrolling through Twitter, and in my shop, I just yelled, "What the?" And like, and they're like, "Dude, are you okay?" And I'm like, "No." Then I like went outside for like a cigarette or something. It's like nobody knew what the hell was wrong with me that day, because none of my coworkers, except for one of them, watch wrestling. So like they were, there's no point in me like explaining to them why I was so mad. But
It would take forever.
But the only one I think that could have successfully really beaten Bray Wyatt would have been Daniel Bryan. Like if Daniel Bryan at the Royal
thought he had
Rumble,
potential with the way they were building up the match and the
I
feud
think
between
he
them.
was the one that could have done it, and the crowd would not have been pissed about the Fiend losing.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. But no, here
but
yeah.
I really wouldn't have minded them like carrying this on a bit longer, maybe up until like SummerSlam, of him just being undefeated. You know, like trying to kind of build up that plethora. And if they were going to put the belt on Roman come WrestleMania, then that would have been so good to then maybe even have Roman and the streak. You know, like have Bray want his title back after WrestleMania's done and Roman's got it. And he's like, okay, you're going to be my next victim. I kind of wouldn't have minded his streak ending via Roman at SummerSlam. That I thought that would have been pretty decent, pretty solid.
I mean, I thought that was kind of the route they were going.
I also feel like Roman's kind of built up a good rating with the crowd again now. So I don't think people would have been mad at him ending it. So yeah.
But no, I definitely think obviously Bray seems like the obvious winner. But like we've said before, I think the fun of the match is just going to be, it could be very gimmicky. It could be very entertaining. It could be like some sort of like House of Horror type thing. Just even without the belt, I still think Bray Wyatt is extremely over right now. You know, I mean, I still hate that he lost the belt, obviously, but I don't think it's hurt Bray Wyatt at all. But I do think if John Cena beats him, that's just going to be a stupid decision to make, personally.
I mean,
I'm just looking forward
said,
to it.
I just have to say that, I mean, in all fairness, I don't even think that Bray needed the belt in the first place. Like, he didn't need to have been put in that picture. He didn't need to win it. So I think their biggest mistake was actually putting the belt on him straight away. They could have just had him coming in and just wanted him to take out people, starting feuds with them individually. He didn't need the belt. So their first mistake there was actually putting the belt on him in the first place.
Because I think Bray Wyatt's character, it isn't about titles. It's about just tormenting people. So it makes sense. I feel like, though, like, if the idea was, you know, or is to put the title on Roman, it obviously makes sense for Goldberg to beat Bray Wyatt versus Roman, because I think if Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt, if that was a WrestleMania match and Roman won, I think fans would be pretty upset because everyone loves Bray Wyatt so much. So I think this was that was WWE's way of taking the title. Taking the title off.
I think that's their way of like salvaging what they probably did in the first place. But yeah, I think if anything, when it comes to the actual streak of Bray Wyatts, I think that it should have been Roman, or it would have been a better story if it was Roman in SummerSlam this year.
Mm-hmm. Does anyone else have anything to touch bases with? What was it, Bray Wyatt and John Cena?
Yeah.
Nah, I think we can just move on to the next one.
Okay, yeah, I know it. The episode's been
There's not a whole lot to say on that one.
Yeah.
So now we have Bayley defending the women's title against Lacey Evans, Naomi, Sasha, and Tamina. What y'all think about
I want it to be Sasha, honestly. I'm sorry, I know I just like jumped right into this, but you know, going back to like the Becky and Sasha, like, you know, I'm happy Becky won, but at the same time, it would have been awesome to see Sasha rocking a belt again. And these past few weeks on SmackDown, like I haven't been watching SmackDown, but I've been watching clips. You know, we can definitely see that Sasha is eyeing that belt. She's looking at that belt. She wants that belt.
Yeah.
And and I don't know, I'm just hoping that she does flip and turn against Bayley and just win that belt and just be her freaking extra dominant self that just made me a Sasha fan in the first place. Like, I love how she's just so extra about everything.
Do you know what? I could actually, I'm just going to jump in real quick and just quickly say, I actually could see it kind of turning that way where, like, it's a big brawl in the ring, and then all of a sudden, like, Bayley's just been taken out, and then Sasha, rather than actually, you know, helping her friend, just kind of like leaving the other girls to all be fighting and then just take full advantage and just pin her and be like,
I could see Sasha doing that.
I mean,
that's definitely something Sasha would do.
you know, I can see that happening.
I mean, she did that to Bayley sort of in the Royal Rumble, didn't she? Where she kind of flipped and turned on her and just got her out. Was like, oops, like, sorry. So maybe that would be like Sasha's plan, get Bayley out, because it's elimination, isn't it? So maybe that would be a good plan, Sasha, to see everyone.
No, I thought it was
it is.
I thought it was a fatal 5-way.
No, it's an elimination 5-way.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they were talking about it on SmackDown being an elimination.
Well,
so
that-
I think
that
Sasha will
changes
take
my
full
other thought that
advantage
I
if
had.
everyone jumps on her and then just pins her, gets her out of the situation quickly, and then she doesn't have to worry about beating upon her best friend. I don't know. But I do want Sasha to win it myself personally. I'm a big Sasha fan, and I think she needs the belt back.
That could happen. She could be like, Bayley, I want it back for you. I want it for you.
I also had a thought too that before I found that it was an elimination, I thought it was like whoever got the 3 count or
Same.
submission. But part of me thought it would be really funny to see like Tamina, like Bayley could be on the floor, Tamina delivers some sort of kick to Sasha, and then Sasha just falls right on top of Bayley and then gets like the 3 count or just get like a cheeky win like that. I personally think that would have been really fun going forward. Just
maybe that's how she eliminates Bayley then.
Yeah,
They
that
could
still
do
can
that as
happen.
well. She's like, I didn't even eliminate you on purpose.
But like just like most of you, I definitely want Sasha to win too. But part of me wants the story to go on a little longer. I would love Sasha to win the Money in the Bank briefcase, and then just her being Bayley's friend saying, "No, don't worry about it. I'm going after Becky or whoever's the Raw champion." And then she sneaks.
Can they
up
cash
behind
in on
Bayley.
the opposite brand?
And then just like when you least expect it, you just hear her music drop and she comes out like, I'm a boss ass bitch.
Yeah, because I like how they're building it up. Like they're showing the little hints with Sasha, like eyeballing the title. I want to see like this kind of grow a little bit more. I mean, I won't argue if Sasha wins this match at the end of the day because you know I love Sasha Banks. I love the good. I love a good. You got something to say?
Come do what have you got?
Well, back to Tim and his point of no crowd. This would be her first WrestleMania moment ever. No crowd, it kind of hurts me a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of a hard one there, but I actually see. This is gonna be bad because my shirt says Sasha, but I see Sasha winning it right now. I actually see them carrying on this feud. I think Bayley. It's too soon to turn Bayley back to face. To be
Do
fair,
you think that Bayley could retain?
I actually think Bayley could retain by turning on Sasha and actually pinning her. They would be the last 2 in the match, and Bailey will cheat to win because that is what she wants. She doesn't want anyone else to have the title. It doesn't matter who it is. I can see her just taking out Sasha for, well, thinking that Sasha wants the belt because obviously all the hints, the smiles, and, you know, maybe that's not really what she wants. But whoever wins, I'm fine with, as long as it's not Lacey Evans. Sorry.
I agree. Just don't make it Lacey, please.
If Sasha wins, I'll
Lacey,
be more than happy.
I'm not ready.
Yeah.
No, the only one that I feel
I'll be
is
more than happy.
I just feel so forced into this match is Tamina. Like, she just comes out of nowhere.
Nowhere, yeah.
They need that monster, don't they?
I'm definitely not trying to like talk shit on Tamina. Like, I'll admit she's never really been a favorite of mine. I'm just kind of.
It's not
just,
even her fault either.
At least with Lacey and
just
Naomi, like, true. I mean, because once Nia got injured, they just kind of left Tamina out to dry.
Yeah.
But at least with like Lacey and
randomly
who's all in the match again? It's Sasha, Bailey, Lacey, Naomi,
Tamina,
and Tamina. Okay, those just those
so
five.
like,
at
all
least
these
with like
women,
Lacey and Naomi, there's
built up.
reason for them to be there because you know they've had altercations with Bailey and Sasha. Tamina is just there.
Tamina is there to be the monster. They need a monster in the match, and that's what Tamina is, essentially. Unfortunately,
I don't remotely think that is Tamina's fault. But she's just not been used, so it really does feel like she's just kind of a little bit irrelevant to the rest of the storyline. And that's not me being horrible to her. I think that she's probably a really great wrestler, but we don't know much about her, and I'm gutted for her because no one really wants to see her win because no one really knows who she is or what she's about or whether or not she's even like capable of wrestling in the ring. No offense, like she definitely needs to up her ring attire though, because every time I see her in the ring, she's in jeans and a belt and like a really long jacket, and it just looks like so much. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I just don't really get her
what are you
character
thinking
right now.
Please let me get this off my
thinking?
mind. What if this is the match that Nia Jax involves herself in?
Oh, good God, no.
Like, think about it. I mean, she's coming back for Tamina. You know, maybe, I mean, I personally wouldn't want it to be Tamina, but I could see this being a good way to reunite Tamina and Nia.
Have Tamina alone and Nia alone, please. Oh, God, I can't.
I know. I was going to say, to be honest, I really am, like, as much as I was advocating about having Nia come back into the picture, I really don't want...
I want them to be separate
and Tamina as a tag team.
True, but I also enjoyed them as a tag team just because of how dominant they were. Like, they looked like actual obstacles to overcome for these women. Like, they were just a really...
I want to say but the only issue I have is that Nia did all the talking in that situation. They'd come across a lot more.
I don't think anybody really likes hearing Nia talk too much.
I feel like Tamina really could.
Tamina just became a shadow. To be honest.
I feel like Tamina really could do with like a good singles run to build up her character, so we as an audience know what she's about. Because right now we don't really know what she's about. She's of very little words, and she rarely gets involved in matches. So if you're gonna have Tamina come in either as a single or part of a tag team with Nia, we need to see more character come from her first. Otherwise, no one's really gonna rate her as a decent enough wrestler to win the women's title by herself. You know,
because I can guarantee if Tamina walks out champion, nobody's gonna be happy.
She was really good in it.
If we say that though, a lot of people, again, this goes back to what we were saying earlier, that a lot of people don't know or haven't watched previous stuff on NXT, so no one will know what she's about. So we need to see more character, more wrestling come from her. Like I said, it's not always her fault that she's not been used, but we need to see more from her for us to really understand why she deserves to be in the title shot here.
Apart from her last name.
I mean, what do you think, Brie? Because Brie, I haven't heard your thoughts. What do you think?
I mean, I guess like I can basically mirror like all of your thoughts. I think Sasha's probably the one that is looking to be the pick if Bailey's to drop the belt. Because I really can't, as much as I love Naomi, I'm such a Naomi fan. You know, I don't think that they've done much of a build for her. Unfortunately, for her to just kind of up and win. I mean, that would be an upset, definitely. It would be an upset if she won or if Tamina won or if Lacey won. for that matter. They're really just kind of pointing to Sasha, and but they do want to showcase the other women that haven't been in the match. They wanted to have Carmella there. I think Carmella then pulled out, so that they put in Tamina. So everyone's kind of like, why? Because she hasn't been on TV, and again, that's not her fault. Like, this had nothing to do with her. This had all to do with, like, we need someone that could come in, and Tamina was there, so they chose her. And to Dee's point, there needs to be kind of that powerhouse, that bigger, I don't want to say bigger, but, like, she's a bigger woman, and that's more of an obstacle to fight. And that's always entertaining for those watching to watch, is watching someone go up against a powerhouse like Tamina is. And I've seen Tamina fight before. She can fight, I mean, but that's kind of like the extent of where I am with her. Naomi, I am a fan of redemption arcs, so of course I don't like how they handled her coming back, and I can't see her getting the belt. She didn't get it when they were at the Saudi show. I don't know why I was upset about that, because I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Lacey is just kind of there. I don't know why they chose her. But there's a part of me that also feels like this won't be clean either. There won't be a young winner for this. I'm having my suspicions, and again, since we want to bring up people who could interfere in this match, it seems like something that someone could interfere with. And, like, if I was to be that person to do fantasy bookings and have my way with things, Bianca would come out, be like, I'm ready to win, and I'm going to have my title. And Sasha won, right? And Sasha got the belt, and then all of a sudden we see Bianca. Now she's ready to fight Sasha, and because she's ready to come to SmackDown, she's ready for her time to shine. And now we get a Sasha
5-star match.
That's the one that I would
mad
like.
at that.
That I wouldn't be mad at that either, because that's my second option besides Bailey retaining, and then they continue. But I do think I have this suspicion that something's gonna happen during that. I could be wrong, but
it's not gonna be a clean match. That much I know.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Don't think so either.
I mean, do you guys actually see Sasha turning on Bailey in terms of storytelling? Because we've had this before. I always think it would be Bailey, just because it's just too soon to turn her back to face. Like,
they pull her out of the picture altogether. They could do that, and because and the reason I say that is because I do know I personally liked Bailey when she came out heel, but unfortunately it's gonna be a little controversial. She kind of got old for me. Like, when she first turned, I was like, oh shit, I love it. And then after a while, just kind of was like, okay, you're bad, we get it.
Right. Do you know what? Just going off on that bit, I actually agree with you. Do you know what? I don't even think it's Bailey's fault, because I think as soon as, like I said, when she came out as heel, I thought it was great. But I think this was creative's fault, because as soon as she turned out and came out as heel, Survivor Series happened, and they just forgot about her. Right. And it was mainly about Becky and Shayna. So I actually don't think it's even her fault. I think that she just ended up becoming irrelevant because WWE just kind of focused on Shayna and Becky come Survivor Series, and she's faded into the scene ever since.
To be fair, though, that's where all the focus
and that's why
was.
I hated it.
That's where all the fans were focused on was Becky and Shayna.
Yep.
Yeah. But there was a lot of build-up, like, you know, even with, like, you know, wasn't it that Shayna who came to Raw or something like that? But then they ended up, like, forcing Bailey to go to the NXT. It just kind of, that felt really out of place, like, you know, just kind of coming out and attacking her when it was like, why is Bailey coming here when she attacked Becky on Raw, when Shayna attacked Becky on Raw? So why is Bailey here? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, they weren't using the fact that they're all supposed to be in this branded feud, and they were just making it mainly about Shayna and Becky. So for me, after that Survivor Series, like, Bailey dipped for me, but not in a bad way from her point of view. It just felt like she all of a sudden became a little bit more less relevant in the picture. So
yeah, I agree.
It's like the thing is,
I don't want face Bailey back. I'd like, keep her heel, please, because I don't need her going back to the hugger.
It's too soon for
I
that.
want
I
a
think
hug.
they need to tell. They need to
Like,
tell a
like,
story with her
character
going back to being a
as well, but
face.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like I really loved seeing her just be like, oh, you to the things like I could feel like that genuine emotion coming from her, and I was like even if she does eventually go back face, like please don't bring back the like yeah,
Too
but it's
soon.
hard. Like yeah,
No, it's too soon for her to go back.
yeah.
I personally like the hugger gimmick.
So did I. I still
Um,
want a hug, but you know.
My cup, I've been drinking out of all show.
I mean, Natty
And,
gives hugs without actually having to advertise that she's a massive hugger. Do you know what I mean? It's like
right. No, I don't. Like when I first started watching them, I first saw Bailey. At first I was like, okay, how old is this woman? Like, it was just like little. I couldn't get a good vibe off of her. But then I don't know. It grew on me. I liked it pretty instantly. I just thought it was a unique gimmick. It's something I thought I would never see in WWE, but I can understand for people that have been watching longer than I have why that got old.
Yeah, but I feel like also because it was so bright and kid-like and colorful, we have to also kind of thank that gimmick for making her heel turn more impactful.
yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, like,
I
out
still
there-
love that video of the kid crying after.
Same.
That's still the best thing ever.
Well, I mean, at least we can be like grateful at the fact that Bailey didn't do it MJF and turn around and say that kid. You know what I mean?
Part of me wishes she would have.
Evil Tim.
We
I'm
have
a Baron
more
Corbin fan, okay? I like it when people get irritated, all right? Let's just establish that right now.
King Tim, that should be your new name instead of Shark.
Yeah.
Is there any more matches left for us to discuss? Like, I'm just looking at the time I need to get going.
Oh my god,
Okay.
it's 3 o'clock.
If you want, we could just discuss 2 more, Taker and Styles, and then Edge and Orton. I feel like they're the most. They're out of all the other matches. So with Undertaker versus AJ Styles in a boneyard match, I don't know. What
Again, what is a boneyard match?
Yeah, what is that?
I think it's.
Can I ask one thing? I don't know if
it.
anyone knows this question, but has everyone heard that apparently Undertaker is going to be showing a new gimmick?
I heard something.
Oh
about it, but didn't
no,
take it
God,
seriously.
please, Jesus.
Yeah,
Why?
and now I'm curious as to what gimmick.
But what is it
going
going
to
to be?
They've said it's not going to be the American Badass.
He's going to be the new hugger.
Imagine getting a hug from that guy. Oh my God.
He went
gonna
from
come out there with
being
a
like the
side ponytail,
scariest
he's gonna
guy,
have
like the
little inflatable
undead,
buddies.
to the hugger.
Oh gosh, no.
It'll
it
be called
won't
the
work.
under hugger or something stupid like that.
Undertaker.
No, please don't do that.
What
I
is
hate
it?
myself for that.
What is this gimmick going to be if it's a boneyard match, though?
Yeah, we've never seen that. I think that's just them trying to get creative since there's no crowd. They're just trying to make up for the idea of, there being no crowd, just trying to try things new.
There going to be skeletons in the audience? Dude, I would fucking love that. Little props.
Headstones and stuff in the audience where the chairs should be.
It's fucking hilarious.
I don't know, but I mean, regardless, this has been a match I've been wanting to see ever since Styles came to WWE, so I'm excited for it. And Undertaker, at this point in time of his career, he really can't carry a match. He can follow, so I think Styles is the perfect opponent for me. AJ Styles made Roman Reigns like $1 million.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still think
Styles
Undertaker at Extreme Rules. Oh my God, that was just classic Undertaker when he teamed up with Roman and fought. What was it? Drew McIntyre and
McMahon.
Yeah, but
yes,
again, though,
that was
they-
just classic Taker. That
they
was
really
so good.
did help with that though, and I think that Taker does do really good matches when he's teamed with someone else as well. So I really do see this working in AJ's favor, and we all know we kind of want like it kind of being seen that Undertaker's passing that on with AJ and stuff, and AJ's just so great at entertaining anyway that he'd be able to put over Undertaker so that he won't like
He
take
still
the
looks
hits
hard.
over. So yeah, I think it will be ultimately entertaining though. I think it's going to be one hell of a match
Oh,
where
no doubt.
we'll get to see Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows come in probably and try and get involved. I think we're going to just get a bit of entertainment factor there.
Maybe they'll get slammed in the tombstones and graves.
Yeah, like Undertaker just
The
taking them
makeshift
out
ones.
easily, but then ultimately that leading to sort of the win for AJ to put it on him. But I think, yeah, overall, I'm just excited for the match. I actually am looking forward to this match.
Assuming Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows get involved, can you see Kane coming out to try to even the odds?
No.
No.
Sorry, no. I
I
don't see
mean,
it.
no, I don't see the King coming back either.
I wouldn't be mad.
I
wouldn't
would
be mad,
see
but
the fire and
For
the,
some
you
reason, I
know.
just don't see it happening. I don't see it happening.
If the coronavirus wasn't a thing, I could see it be more likely. But with people being quarantined,
I think he won't travel with that.
Yeah, and he's in his 50s.
It's like a mayor of a county, so if anything, with the virus at the moment, his number one priority is probably his city that he's running. So
I should point out too, I'm pretty sure this is going to go on YouTube. YouTube has been coming down hard on people mentioning the virus, so just a heads up for you there.
Okay.
So that's why I haven't personally said it myself. So,
I didn't even. I'm seeing videos.
Yeah,
all over.
just a heads up for you. Just a heads up for you. There have been channels that have been getting
like Voldemort.
Yeah, because people have just been mentioning it. So
they don't want it to spread online.
Well, as much as we would all love Kane to be there, sadly, I think due to unforeseen circumstances, he will not turn up. So, it will still be an entertaining match.
I think
AJ
it will be.
does
AJ
a high
and Taker
flying.
are sure to deliver a pretty fun match. I have no doubt.
For sure.
So let's get to our last match that we're going to talk about: Edge versus Randy Orton in a last man standing match. What do y'all think about this?
I think this is going to be. To me, this is probably my second match I'm most excited for. I mean, Charlotte and Rhea being my first one, but just Edge returning. I marked out. I mean, I'm sure we all did. I marked out so freaking hard when I heard that music hit again. I think I damn near was like crying at one point. Like,
I definitely think a tear came down my eyes
and like
first
that moment when he walked out, you got the smoke and the fire, and like he looks at the crowd and he's like, you know, you could tell he was like trying not to cry.
Yeah, he was in awe. He was just,
like
he was shocked.
It's just I think this is going to be a great match because I mean he still has it. You know, he performed phenomenally in the Royal Rumble. And Randy is just a wrestler that you could put him pretty much anywhere and you're going to get a good match. He's a damn good wrestler. But I think this feud has been built up very well. Truly, I'm so excited. I personally hope Edge wins.
This is my favorite match that I'm looking forward to be honest.
It's definitely probably my second, if not first. I love it. I'm excited for it.
I'm really praying, because it is a last man standing. I'm really, really praying. I really want my girl Beth Phoenix to come out and like just deliver some sort of hit on Randy. Like that is the little personal thing I want. Because not only did he actually call her out and actually to her face called her a bad mother, I was like, you should have seen me. I was at my seat by this point. And Jason's
I want Beth to deliver an RKO to Randy or something.
That's what I was thinking. I just want to see her get her comeback. So I will be even more satisfied if we can at least have Beth come out and just, deliver an RKO.
She has the strength. We all know she has the strength.
I mean, we all know she's a badass. You remember in the Royal Rumble, she was bleeding from her head profusely. Yeah. And she was still going. Like,
she just looked so strong at that point.
She is such a badass.
I think that would be the cherry on the cake for that match if she could just.
Especially because it feels like she's been brought into this whole feud anyway, and so I feel like it would actually be like another. Especially if we do get quite a long match between them, it will help like re-pop the crowd up to actually see her kind of pop up halfway through. Like I know that there's no audience, but again, from our point of view, when we're watching it. Like there will be like another pop for us to see her come out and just be like F you, and
I have to give props to
totally obviously
Randy,
I'm thinking
Randy
Team Edge
winning. Such a good villain. Randy is such a good villain. He's so
he
good
can never
at
go back to
building
being
that
face after
tension.
this.
No,
Never.
but
Like,
he
he
can
will
create
never
an
be a face again
atmosphere.
after this.
I really don't think he ever had a decent run as a face in the first place. I think all of his great runs, even as a champion, have all been when he's a heel, and I don't think that he can go back, especially after even having the feuds that he did with Jeff Hardy. That to me was one of the hardest feuds to watch, especially when he was like matching with him and putting his hand in his ears and stuff like that. You can't
Oh my
really
Oh
turn
God.
someone, yeah, you can't really turn someone face again after that. Like, we all saw that. We all saw it. And then you RKO a woman. Like, F you, Randy. You're never going to be a face again. So accept
But I
it.
think that's why it's
Be the
making
decent
this
heel we know
feud
you
look
are.
even better. That's what makes this feud even better, because Edge came back to such a hyped crowd. Everyone just loved him so much. Everyone wanted that, even that reunion of Rated RKO as well. And Randy just being like the villain that he was, like, it was kind of confusing. Are they going to go back to Rated RKO? So I think that's what made it so much more impactful when he just turned on Edge the way he did. And that's why I think this is going to be like one of the biggest matches, the biggest match of WrestleMania, because the hype is just made it so deep, and you kind of feel like it's your family he's talking about. It's Randy just has such that villain stamp that he can just put on anything, and it's made this anticipation so exciting. I cannot wait to see Edge spear him. I really cannot wait to see that.
Because this is gonna be a fantastic match, because they both are veterans and they both come from an era where telling the story in the ring was a really big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, like, it just, with Randy Orton being a heel, it just doesn't feel natural with him being a face. The only time I could really think of him being a face when I enjoyed it was when he was feuding with Brock Lesnar, and that was about it.
See, do you know what? I was going to say a different one. The only time I really enjoyed him as a face was when he became like the youngest champion ever, and Evolution turned on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the best one for me. I really loved that run, because I think that helped big him up as like for his first title run, but also at the same time it was like the perfect way to kind of like really cement Triple H being that villainous heel, like we all know he is, so I actually really loved that run. But I think after that, I've really not really fancied any of Randy's face runs. I prefer him as a heel.
He's just a better heel. Simple as that. I mean,
it's like Lana. Lana is so much better as a heel. I didn't really see like, this is why it's really hard to like see, because we know they're married in life. If Rusev was to ever come back, it's really hard to see them like back together if they are gonna ever go with that again, because like, I mean, Lana's like done some questionable things, so trying to put her as a face again, I don't think it will ever work.
Yeah, to some wrestlers, they just fit in a role, and it just doesn't feel right either way, like Lana.
Samoa Joe.
Samoa, I'm fine with it. He could be a good badass face, kind of like Kevin Owens, but it they
like
fit more
one.
naturally as a heel at the end of the day.
I still want to see them turn Baron Corbin face one day. This is how I would do it.
How is anyone going to get behind Baron Corbin being a face? I'm really sorry. I don't know how.
This is how I would do it.
You would have to bring someone really, really shady like Vince
I want to hear what Tim's got.
This is how I would do it. He would be playing the role of a face. The crowd would still be booing him, but he would still be like, how can I word this? He would still be pandering to the crowd, just kind of ignoring the boos, but still being the good guy. Like, in other words, like a kill him with kindness type thing. That's how I would do it with Baron Corbin.
Didn't they try that with Seth?
Maybe, I don't know.
That with Seth, because the crowd were going against Seth, and Seth is like, "Why are you against me?" And I swear they even tried that with the Miz as well, and it just went heel.
I don't know. I just Baron Corbin just kind of playing the kill him with kindness role, I think, would be really entertaining.
Maybe in a year.
Maybe in a year. Well, does anyone else have anything else to say about Orton and Edge?
I hope Edge wins.
Yeah,
same.
Same.
It would make sense. Yeah, I kind of want the storyline to go on a little longer too.
There's still more matches with Edge I want to see, so I wouldn't be mad if. I mean, I still want to see Edge and Reigns at one point, or Edge and Daniel Bryan would be a good one.
Edge and Daniel Bryan would be a good one. I'd like to see that.
But no, Yeah, I'm just excited for this match, and again, I can't express enough how much I just love that he's back, and he was one of my favorites when I was younger. I watched, and just I never thought I'd get to see him in the ring again.
Yeah, he gets like every time he comes out for his entrance, I still like kind of mimic his entrance when he puts his hands up and all. I'm one of those people. I still do that with some of the entrances. I know. I think Jax, you saw the one of me doing Goldberg.
Yes. No, that was brilliant, that one. And then wait, no, because wasn't there one with you did one with Jeff Hardy as well, but she didn't manage to catch it, did she?
I don't
You
think
sat
so.
down before
She
you
got me
ran
doing.
and sat down before she could catch you.
She got me doing Robert Roode at one point too, but the video never surfaced the internet.
Jason almost caught me doing the sort of dance break, and he ran in.
The R-Truth and Carmella.
Yeah, and then I threw my slipper at him, so he couldn't.
That's the good thing about wrestling. Like, we're adults, but at the same time, it still brings out the inner child in us, and that's like,
for
sure.
Entertainment.
Hell yes.
If anyone says that they don't mimic the entrances, still they're lying.
They're
Like,
lying.
I know we all still do it.
Yeah.
Like anytime my phone goes off, I have Becky Lynch as my ringtone, and when I pick up my phone, I literally pick it up like this, like when she has the belt, and then I'll answer it. I can't help it. I love it.
Such a catchy song, though.
It really is.
I really like Matt Riddle's one. I could see myself, if that was my ringtone, walking all the time like this. Or just walking to grab my phone like. But my favorite one is probably Keith Lee's, because I'm always like, bask in his glory, and I have to
Oh my goodness.
I love it. Really love it.
Well, hopefully your boyfriend can get you doing that and put it online one day. I would love to see that.
I have no time.
You'll see at the end of the video the slipper coming right at the camera.
Or you just see the camera just get like moved on the floor, and you'll just hear boom. Ow. Well, I'll be sure to let you know if he does ever catch me, but I'm quite good at not being able to get caught, so I'll let you know.
Yeah, see, not all of us are as good as you.
Cool. Well, I'm going to leave you guys to it because I need to get going. My food's ready, so
yeah,
I will
I'm right.
speak to you later. Thank you for having me on here.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, and I think we're all gonna wrap it up too, because I think we all got some stuff to get to it. So yeah, thank you all for joining. This was freaking fun as hell.
It really was.
It was.
Cool. Hopefully, I look forward to us doing the sort of predictions for
the shake-up.
The shake-up, yeah.
Oh, I definitely
I've got a few
part of
ideas
that one.
in mind, so it'd be really interesting to hear other people's thoughts as well.
Oh yeah, that will definitely be a fun episode. We'll figure out whenever they advertise the shake-up, we'll figure out a good day and time to do it.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
We got another podcast coming, baby.
Cool, baby.
Cool. Well, I'll see you later, guys.
All right, guys.
Have a good one. Bye. Thanks to everyone for listening and tuning into this episode.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.